Yeah, all right. Look, I've just been looking at some of the jobs we've got on the board there, and we really are busy at the moment. And to top it off, we've still got a number of big projects that we've got on the go, which some of them you will have seen throughout the series so far. Maybe I'll just take you over and give you an update and let you see where some of those are at. Most of you will recognise this car, Mr. PSI. It has been busy actually. Attended the opening of Fast and Furious. Was there on display, which was pretty cool. Hasn't been on the dyno. We're really on hold with this car. Obviously, this is the car that, as you would have seen on the show, won Horsepower Heroes this year. But basically, with obviously what happened to the owner last year, it really has sort of now become a case that his wife wants to sell it. So we're just, at the moment, trying to find someone who's interested in buying it. Maybe that could be you. Along here, we've got our HPF XR8 project in bits at the moment, as you can see. Still very focused on trying to get this back out to the track and run a good time. Had it back onto the dyno and haven't been able to achieve the power that we're chasing to be able to run the times that we're looking for. So we've got a couple of things we're trying at the moment. I can't speak about those in public because it's top secret, but we're hoping to get that back on the dyno within the next week or so and head out back to the track. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that on the show. And I'll take you over and just show you Daniel's car. I've got that just over here. All right, now what we've got here is Daniel's 300C project. You can see we've actually removed the rear subframe, and this is what normally holds the diff centre and drive shafts and rear hubs and that. Basically, one of the things we noted with this car is that it actually runs an open wheel diff centre, and what that means is that it actually relies on the brakes either side to apply load to the opposite side, which, look, on a standard road car, with stability control, that's basically how they work it, and it's not a bad thing. Something that's got over 700 horsepower at the wheels and you're wanting to take to the track and looking for ultimate grip, it's certainly not ideal. So one of the changes that we're making to this is we're actually changing the diff ratio to suit the times that we want to run, and we'll go to a spool for his diff, which will be a drag setup. The other thing that we are going to do while we've got this out, because it's a great time to do it, because you've got access to everything, is we're going to change all the bushes to Pedder's bushes. They're a Nolithane bush. We really noticed on the dyno and even driving the car, the movement of the rear wheels in relation to all the linkages and control arms is great, and certainly not ideal, again, for keeping the geometry of the wheel and keeping everything aligned for when you're trying to get maximum grip and keeping the tyres square to the track. So while it's out, we've got a whole range of bushes here, from the links through to the main cradle bushes. We'll change all of those, which will make a massive difference to the way this car launches and drives. I might take you over now and show you how we're going with the Hilux project. G'day, Georgie.
There you go, Robert.
Good. Okay, now last but not least, this is the engine out of our Lolux project. It's a Hilux that has had the full works done to it, everything from air suspension through to twin turbos. It's coming up on the show, and I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing that one. We've really got a lot on the go at the moment, very busy, and to top it all off, we've got the boys heading up to Sydney for the Australian Aftermarket Expo to compete in the SACHS Challenge, so they're leaving early, which is just going to throw another spanner in the works. But anyway, I suppose I better stop talking to you guys and go and do some work.
Well, it all started one day a couple of months ago when Robbie came up to me and said to me, "Hey Marty, have you ever heard of the SACHS Challenge?" And I said, "No, what's that?" And he said, "It's a automotive-based challenge open to all workshops throughout Australia. I reckon that we should have a go." And I said, "Yeah, why not? We'll give it a crack."
First of all, Marty approached me about the SACHS Challenge and said that Rob had told him about it, and it was a competition which mechanics could enter. It was going to be held in Sydney, and there was $15,000 prize money, which got me pretty excited.
So enjoy your time here at the show. Hope you have a great Saturday morning. There's a lot for you to see. And return to the 2009 SACHS Masters stand whenever you like.
So we got our 6 jobs. We had one of them was a gearbox, complaining of hard to select second gear. We had a diff that was complaining about a noise in a diff, so they had a gearbox on the bench ready to check. There was a diff on another bench ready to go. There was a wiring board that was there that we had to wire up certain lights with a switch and a relay. All the wires had to be the correct colour. They were going to be checking it for, had to be as per the diagram that they gave us. We also had a car in the middle, and the job card for the car, we had 2 separate job cards for the one car. One of them was check a leaky front brake caliper, check for brake shutter, and check brake condition and handbrake. And the other job card just said do a pre-purchase inspection. So we had to assume that somebody was considering buying this car, and we had to do a full check over on it and find whatever we found for that person to know if they wanted to consider buying the car or not. So the 15 minutes was up, and they come and said, they told us that it was time to start. So I decided that I would do the wiring board, get stuck straight into that. And I worry because we haven't even started to look at half the problems on the car yet, like the fact the car doesn't go and half the lights aren't working and things like that. But this is worth too many points to not do it. So. I've got Paul straight onto the car, get it up on stands, start checking the brakes and doing some of them issues.
Oh, the brake pedal was touched a little bit to start the car. You've got to touch the brake pedal to start the car and pop the piston out a little bit. Made it a bit awkward.
And got Ian to go straight into the gearbox and start pulling that apart and seeing what he could find with that.
Yeah, we got there Friday night, and we expected to get there a little bit earlier so that we could check it all out and see, what the deal was and what we had to do and that sort of stuff. But we missed the flight, so we didn't get to do that. So we turned up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I was absolutely shitting myself, got to say. Very nervous, not knowing what we had to do. And they gave us a bit of a rundown. We met the BMW mechanics, which were the champions from last year. They looked like fairly smart guys. Well, I wouldn't say I was worried, but they definitely, they didn't look stupid. Anyway, and then we were pretty much straight into it. What I had to do was the mechanical work, like pull the wheels off the car and do the pre-purchase inspection. I had to check brake rotors and just all sort of mechanical work that I haven't really done for probably about 5 years. But yeah, it was all right. I think I did all right.
brake rotor thickness and the run out, and just measuring it, checking it against the specs that they've supplied, and making sure it's all right. The rear's all right so far. The right front was on the limit of the run out.
So what was your job here?
Checking the brakes, just generally checking the vehicle over.
They'd put a fair amount of problems in the two cars, which Paulie and Marty mainly did that, and Marty did the electrical diagram and wiring stuff as well. I did the transaxle. Probably looked a bit too hard for what was wrong with it. Really there was nothing wrong with it, then a bit of a worn second gear synchro, which I didn't believe would cause a problem, but that's what I put down as a problem, so that was okay. I had to pull it apart, list what was wrong with it and put it back together again. The diff was quite easy. That was a rather simple thing. I had some worn pinion bearings, and the crown wheel set up to the pinion was wrong, and also not enough backlash. So just listed all those faults out.
It's not deep enough for a start.
Yeah, no.
And it's too not engaged enough. The pinion height. Do you want to know what to repair it, or?
And what about the other side?
Much the same. You've got to get it in far enough to get a decent pattern to try it. So again, too far out, so it's not deep enough.
Yeah. How about the backlash? You want to get the guy in the car?
Yeah, no, done it.
Brought out another job saying the car's just been towed in, will not start.
Still not confident because they haven't found anything.
Gentlemen, you know what it's like in a workshop. You have one of those days where the boss comes in and says, car's just been towed in on the tow truck. That is your vehicle. Just been towed in, you now have another job. Vehicle towed in, it won't start. Diagnose and rectify, no start. Reporting findings, please.
Well, we've just been given another job. We've now been told this car doesn't start and we have to make it start, or check to see why it doesn't start.
So they gave us another job just to throw it in, just to try and throw a bit more pressure on, with about half an hour to go, I think it was. And so I jumped straight onto that, checked for injector pulse, and there was no injector pulse. Checked for power at the injector plug, and there was power there. I looked at the wiring diagram and assumed the next thing would be crank angle sensor to make sure that it was getting a signal, and when I went down to the crank angle sensor it wasn't plugged in properly. So I plugged that straight in, car started and run. So that all worked really well, I was really happy with that. And then I basically just started going back over things. I went back over the car and looking for things that I thought they might have done to try and throw, just to throw a bit of a curveball in. Found a couple of little things, like they'd loosened off one seat bolt, just enough to make the seat move a little bit when you gave it a shake, so I picked that up. A seat belt with a twist in it, a door check strap, they'd loosened a bolt on one of them. There were some lights on top of the sun visors that didn't work. There were just little things like that.
I'm just doing the last, because they will give these a bit of a tug. Well, the more we keep checking, the more little things we find, but it's, how far do you go? Yep. I didn't pull it out, but I didn't find a jack. No, I said that to him.
You didn't pull it out though?
Well, I said to him, I can't find it. And he said, we haven't taken it out. So you've done all this?
I'm going to drop the car down now and drive up the wheels.
So shutter in front with braking you've done?
Yep.
The leak from the caliper you've done?
Yep, done the leak.
Front rear brakes with serviceability you've done?
Yep.
Handbrake adjustment?
Yes, good.
Okay, so that's that one done.
They called out 2 minutes to go, and we'd found that scene, I don't know how we'd missed them, but earlier on there was fog lights down under the bumper bar. You'd actually nearly get under the car to see. And I said to Paulie, oh, did you check the fog lights? And he said, no. I said, quick, turn them on. And one fog light wasn't working. And they just called 2 minutes to go.
And Team HPF to our left, Martin Rogerson, Paul Farrell and Ian Waitman. With just over, I'd say, 2 minutes to go.
So we did as many checks as we could, but we didn't quite get to that. We knew it wasn't a globe, we knew it wasn't a fuse, and eventually they told us it was a bad earth they'd put in there, but unfortunately we found that one a bit too late, but it didn't seem to matter in the end.
Got to the end of it, and there's a bit of a build-up to the judges.
Okay, we're here at the SACHS Masters. We've just finished competing now, and we're waiting for the results. I'm still really nervy. My stomach's still going. Just wondering what's happening. I don't know.
Brekkie down?
Yeah, Breckie's just staying down. How are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it was a bit stressful. It was, you know. I thought it was quite interesting.
Paulie?
I need a bourbon.
Yeah, that's right.
Badly.
I need to drink something better than as dry as anything.
Yes. No, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It was interesting.
And I think that it was, even if we don't win, I think that I learned a lot from this to go forward for next year.
Yeah, I reckon next year I'll be a lot more calm at the start.
So you'll do it again next year?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll do it till we win.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I said, next year.
What if we win this year? Do we still do it next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, got to back it up.
Yeah.
That's right. No, it was
Back
good.
it up.
I didn't think we'd won at all, because they called out fourth. I think they had a prize for fourth, definitely for third and second. And I thought that it was third, second, first. So when the second prize people got their prize, I thought they'd won, and we all thought that. And Marty noticed on their novelty check that it wasn't for money, it wasn't for cash, it was for a holiday in Vanuatu or something. And he's saying, they haven't won, you know.
And they took them up for their photos, and I saw them turn the board around, and it was a holiday. And I looked at that and I went, that's a holiday, that's not first prize, that's probably second prize. I said to Paulie, hey Paulie, they've won a holiday, they haven't won the money. Maybe that's not first prize. He's like, oh. You know, so we sort of perked up a little bit, but like I said, we weren't really expecting to win, but we would have liked to have got one of them places. And then they said, now for the big one, now for the winner, or the overall winner.
And so I was just ready to clap for BMW. I had my head down. I thought, nah, we haven't even got a place. You know, I was devastated.
There's got to be a dealership coming up here. And so Jason Richards got up and he said, then the winner is HPF. And me and Paulie just couldn't believe it. We both jumped up in the air, we woohoo and yelled and screamed and danced around.
And then last they called HPF, which was a fantastic feeling. We were really stoked. It was just an unbelievable feeling to win that against all those people.
And they called out our name, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was very good.
And I tell you what, it was one of the best feelings of my life. I've never ever experienced something from going such a low, thinking that we were out of it, we didn't do any good, we'd lost, to being the winner. It's just, I can't explain it, it's just nothing like I've ever felt before. So, yeah, no, it was really good. We were really excited. We brought home the big novelty check. We carried it around with us most of the day and showed everyone around us what we'd done. Carried it on the plane, and the steward tried to take it off me as we were entering the plane, saying, no, you can't take that in here, I have to keep that for you. And yeah, no, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, Marty carried it around everywhere. Had it behind his head in the airport. Through security, he had to put it through the security scanner. Yeah, it was pretty funny.